Anyways, let's go into this. It is a best of one as we're still in the round of 16 between these two players. This section of the bracket getting held up a little bit at some point. So we'll go into this and have a look to see what will happen. To the top right hand side of the map, our red Protoss player. It is DnS. And he's going up against the green Zerg to the lower left hand side from Izimba. It's Guru. So some Protoss versus Zerg for us here in this best of one. Winner of this will play Cass in the round of 8. So that'll be another Terran matchup, but will not be TVT for once. Will not be that mirror matchup, which is kind of nice. So we've got a couple different matchups lined up now, and of course we'll finally be getting into those best of 3s after this series as well. So another nice little benefit. Getting out of the best of 1s is always great. Best of 1s can be a little bit... best of 1s aren't bad. It's just frustrating kind of having to come out of games so often and look for a new series. And just in general, I think most people would agree that a best of 3 can be more entertaining to watch as well. A little bit more kind of skill throughout the series and a little bit more kind of less randomness and stuff also. So we get into those best of 3s, guys. This will be our last best of 1 of the day. As we set up into this. I mean, initially here we're going to see a hatch gas pool out of Guru. Nothing really too crazy about that. And it's going to be seeing the probe moving away from the main base. And in the meantime, DnS is just going to be starting up a Nexus on the natural expansion as well. And just going into Cybernet Core 2. So Cybercore starts on up in the main base. And again, so far, first 2 minutes of the game, it's exactly what you would expect to see out of a PvZ. Especially a PvZ on Proxima Station, where there is just going to be a very standard setup of kind of bases. You know, free bases will come very easily. And all the rest of it as well. Now, we will be watching over the next few moments just to kind of get an idea as to how exactly Guru is going to play this out, I think. Obviously, the tech from the Protoss player is kind of interesting as well. See if he's going to open the Robo, which we've been seeing a bit more recently. He's going to go for that very standard sort of Stargate play style. All of those kind of interesting, cool, different options. As Probe comes back in and rebuilds a pylon. It's frustrating, just continuing to delay this third base of Guru for just a few extra seconds. Only cost him a few minerals, but it's costing this drone so much time. I mean, it could have been the third base so long ago now. He's back over here with this probe again, threatening to do it once more, but this time the hatchery will indeed go down, and the probe is going to pull away from those lings. So the Stargate starts up. Stargate is going to start, and just going to be seeing DnS sort of getting this ready to go. The Stalker pushing away this Overlord as well, just trying to deny the scouting, and so far so good. Guru is completely blind against the opening of DnS here for the most part, so he's left guessing as DnS. I like the Stargate just because it is simple, it is standard, and it just puts you in this position where you're safe. You can go up to the free bases, and you're just allowed to go into your mid game without anything kind of too crazy happening with you. You know, you're just allowed to do what you want to do. All these lings down here just sat on the low ground, having a little bit of a look to see what else is happening as well. Rotron will drop down in the natural expansion. So Rotron will drop down here, Cryptium will come down to the edge of the base as well. And again, just going to be seeing these couple of Cryptiums continue to push on forward. So Crypt continue to push forwards and looking to see what else might happen. Oracle is on the way up from DnS as well, and another ship core also going to be popping in the next few moments. So still really no surprises for DnS here on Proxima. Third Nexus dropping down too. I guess these roaches from Guru are a little bit aggressive. 7, 8 of them already. Meanwhile, he also goes into the Spore Crawlers, which, as he loses also another couple of drones, he's in a really poor drone count at the moment. 35 against 45. Loses this Creep Tumor trying to help connect the natural, the main base and the third. I'm just going to see the Oracle again pulling away over to the left-hand side. So Oracle pulls over to the left, and another Oracle starting to, or continuing to, come down through the middle of the map. I know Void Ray as a follow-up. I mean, sometimes you see the single Phoenix as a way to push back Overlords here and there. The Void Ray sort of does the same thing. Gives you maybe a little bit of extra safety, and in this situation it's probably going to work out quite nicely considering how many roaches Guru has been building. Guru has obviously started to go back into some drones here and there, but a complete misread from him in general, I think, because a few adepts like this does not need this many roaches to defend. As you are just seeing those roaches not really able to get anywhere. Still best of 1 this round, that's Papa Mitch. Yeah, this was, I know it's been taking us a while, but this was a very delayed section of the bracket, and so this is still a round of 16. Just because it was, this section of the bracket took a little bit longer to complete than the rest, so while we've already watched one round of 16 match, this is just another, and then we'll go into the round of 8 after this, which will be best of 3s, which is okay. I mean, it means that the tournament's taking a little bit longer as well, which is always nice. A couple of drones going down, by the way, to these 2 oracles. I like what DnS is doing, not committing too heavily in with them, keeping lots of health on them, and just keeping them as a real presence and threat on the map as he continues to build up Void Rays, by the way. Immortal's being built too. Guru just now dropping down his lead. It feels as though the tech and the setup for the Protoss play is just so great here. 62 probes to 56 drones. He's got the 3 bases running nice and freely. He's going into a lot of kind of heavy tech units, which are going to be very powerful against just very low tech, like tech tier 1.5 tech units out of Guru, which is the roaches. I don't know, right now it feels as though Guru just doesn't really have anything going for himself in this game, and it's not like anything has really happened just yet either. It's been very, very patient, very, very passive, and yeah, I'm not really too sure what exactly has happened for Guru to be in this sort of situation. I mean, I know he's going to morph in Ravages. I know with the lair finish he can go Roach Speed. The Bane Nest will come down and send him through. The Hooks will also be upgraded, and he'll get in towards the kind of Ling Bane Ravages sort of style, I imagine. But no melee upgrade, which is going to make the Banes do a lot less. Going to go the missile upgrade, which is so weird for the Ravager playstyle. When you play with the Ravagers compared to Hydras, they're so much less dependent on the +1 missile upgrade. I mean, obviously it helps, but they're so much more dependent on the on the Corrosive Vials, which is why you don't see too much of it. We don't see these Voiders very desperate to try and get rid of this hatchery. And it would just again put DnS into that slightly better position. He gets a kill, no cancel by Guru. And again, DnS finds himself a good little victory right there, and that's going to be a big, big play. Again, 300 minerals down the drain, and that Protoss player just gets further and further ahead for us in another revelation onto the Queens. So far, only 1 Adept lost this game, and I mean, for Stargate opener, you're expecting to play effectively, you're expecting to play pretty well. So this is pretty impressive so far. As we see just a few more Zealots warping in, High Temple and a few more Zealots warping in just out front here, and again, just going to push those Zerglings back, no problem at all. 4th base in the meantime also coming into play. Another Revelation drops down on the hatchery, the Overlords, and a couple of these Queens. Ravage is going to be making their way through these rocks once again. So the rocks going to get taken down, and again, just open it up kind of. It's actually kind of weird for Guru to take down the rocks, because obviously he's not the one that wants to be kind of attacking through this position. I guess it opens up access towards his 4th base. And I guess if there's an army, there shouldn't really be an army here now. The 4th base is set up to the left-hand side, so I guess it's not going to matter too much as Oracle's again trying to find some information, find some damage. Man, 8 workers killed in the last few moments to the Adepts, and again, it's just DnS pushing himself into a better position. His probe count is fantastic, his 4th base is saturated. And as Guru comes across the map, you just see this preemptive kind of Void Ray position and allowing him to know, DnS, that these Zerglings are on their way, so DnS can set up nicely and effectively, and he can position himself as he wants to be positioned. And you can see Guru is obviously kind of not really going for this kind of aggressive play style which you generally play with a lot of Lings, a Bane Nest up, and the Ravagers. He's just going to go for kind of further tech from the get-go. Spire now starts up, and I imagine the further tech will generally point towards Broodlords, because he doesn't really have great upgrades to go into Ultralisks with. Ultras aren't the best in ZvP. You can use them, but they're not the best, and I just wonder if he's going to get caught being way too greedy here. Like, Infestors are set up with no energy on them at the moment. There's Storms available from DnS. He's got Archons, he's got Immortals. Extra Banes are going to be keeping on finishing right now. And as those extra Banes finish up, we're just going to be seeing him setting up into a into kind of a little bit of a concave. I guess it's a little bit scary for DnS to push into this position. I mean, generally as the Protoss play against this computer defender, but he feels like he's got good enough to lead. Definitely can. It's a great set of force fields to just initially block those Zerglings out and to grab a little bit of damage. More Banes morphing in once again. +2 weapons is now finished too, as we see the Greater Spire starting up again for DnS. He should just really be looking to take the fight prior to the oh, that's nice Corrosive Vials actually. Going to get himself 2 Archon kills actually. Really, really nice. Two Morphin Archons shot down. Good pick off by Guru. Oracle still to the side. Probably want to try and hit a Revelation on this as more spines come up, just really setting up this sort of static defense sort of area. What's in the Prism? Just the Zealots. Again, nice, well, kind of nice on both sides. Nice Storms, but also nice Fungal Bile combo to pick off a few more units. DnS will start to work his way through this hatchery, and oh my god, the Banes! Well, honestly, not that many of them connected in the end. Could have been a lot worse. As, man, with so many minerals, DnS could build so many Zealots and just warp them. He's got 14 gates, he can warp so much into the main. And that could be very deadly. If you warp in, like, drop 4 Zealots, warp in 40 more, 20 Zealots in the main, I mean, it's expensive, but what is there in position to deal with this while he's still pressuring with the army at the front? He's going to get some damage done somewhere. For now, he's just going to leave it at 4 Zealots, but the potential he has to just make so much more is pretty huge. Corruptor's on the way out. I mean, we're seeing the potential of, well, we've seen Guru attempting to go in towards the Greater Spider tech, the Broodlords. Obviously, so far, that's not really been a possibility. Nice pick up on an Infestor. Fungal Growth actually came. And of one of the lower end, one of the Infestors that wasn't being killed as well. So now they end up on lower energy overall. I'm just going to be seeing kind of, again, I mean, DnS, yes, he's about to go up against Broodlords, but he's got 3 carriers building. So he's setting up nicely into the Stargate units, which you generally expect and to be needed to go in towards the, to go further into this here. A few more units just sort of collecting out the front, and we've seen those carriers from DnS still just on the way out. Zerglings continue to work their way through the rocks to the side. A lot of Zealots this time. They're just going to run to the left-hand side. I'm not sure if Guru sees this with this crew. I think he sees the rocks going down, but he doesn't see the Zealots, which can be a little bit difficult to notice if you're not paying much attention to the left-hand side of the map, so it can be understandable if he doesn't see those going down until right now, when those Zealots are getting ready to charge on it anyways. Prism lifts up a few Zealots inside, but going to get found by the Corruptors, and I feel as though he's already taken a few too many hits to realistically unsiege him to get away, so Prism will fall. He gets the Zealots out, which is a nice little something. As DnS just establishes a 5th base. Again, more carriers on the way. I would like to see some, I guess some Tempest would be nice, but actually maybe even after this carrier, maybe more Void Rays, just as a way to have an answer to the Corruptor camp which is coming up here, because obviously you're going to need to win the kind of battle in the skies if you want to kill the Broodlords. And against Corruptors, that can be difficult with just carriers, but that's where the Voids come in, because Voids will absolutely melt those units, and that will change up a whole bunch of stuff. As Lings will find the kills on the Zards up to the top side. Nice pickoffs here to just keep things looking pretty safe throughout. Carrier's going to fire onto the first Corruptor, and I guess that's a pretty big deal as well. +1 air weapons in play against no air upgrades. Well, +1 flyer attacks is about to finish, but no Carapace. And I mean, +1 flyer attacks will help to take down the Corruptors quickly. The carriers quickly, but it won't help the Corruptors stay alive, which I think is more important, because against Interceptors, which obviously going to be fighting very quickly every single time, I think the Carapace will just give you a little bit more of an advantage. You see Roaches and Ravagers coming in. These Immortals do clean out a good few spines. And it's that stage of the game where DnS is not really interested in having too many Immortals as part of his army. He is pretty much going primarily into Sky Toss as he pushes forwards here. At the front, this gold base is just being evacuated immediately. Guru not going to try and defend this. What's else to the side will start to drop pretty swiftly, but they're even trading out pretty well. I mean, he gets 2 Ravagers. Yeah, I mean, 200 gas down the drain is not something to laugh at. He's meanwhile killing off so many spines as well with the rest of these Zealots. And now Guru has to pull back to deal with this attack, which is pushing on forwards. High Templars lead the charge with feedbacks and obviously Storms available. Big Storms initially onto the Corruptors. Another one too. Oh, no way can you fight in this, surely. As Guru, I mean, somehow he forces the recall away. But man, that was... I don't feel as though the recall back home should have come down. It feels as though he could have maybe stand a bit longer. I guess he was just lacking units on the ground or something, so he didn't feel comfortable going up against the Broodlings. But he had some good feedbacks. The Storms really did kind of batter and bruise these Corruptors. Pretty much all of them in the orange health right now. Obviously, they can now regenerate. And that's what DnS should be looking to take advantage of, looking to take another fight before this, before the Corruptors do regenerate. Make the most of those Storms, which landed very nicely there, as everything clumped up rather than spreading out. Archons, Templar, Carriers, again, very strong composition. I still would just love to see a few Void Rays mixed in here. just to help out with those corruptors. I mean, it hasn't really seemed as though he needs them yet, but I feel as though it's just a little bit of a safer way to approach it. Moving onwards. Gets into the mineral line again, trading out zealots for a few drones. At this point, DnS has basically kind of got infinite minerals. I mean, the map is so large, he's not going to run out of bases, and the bases he takes at the moment have no real kind of, harassment going towards them. Guru is very much so being forced to sit on his own side of the map, stay on his creep spread, and just sit super, super defensively. So while he sits super defensively, DnS just continues to move around and have a pretty great time. He's just doing what he wants to do, taking the bases, as we mentioned. He can keep on throwing zealots away, because he just has enough minerals to afford that. And again, he has enough minerals to afford it, and he's finding value afterwards as well. So we're just going to be seeing these few units from DnS pulling around. Going to be taking down a couple of these group achievements. Yeah, bottom right base, just transferring probes over there almost instantly. Dark Shrine will begin to build also another layer of potential harassment and just sort of gameplay for our pros. We see a big warp in into the main. I mean, this is what's going to be really difficult for Guru to stop. The large zealot warp-ins that hit the main, the natural, and just really pull kind of decent chunks of his army out of position. You can see it right now. I mean, he's responding with primarily queens. They don't really put out that much damage, so I mean, they can survive a long time because of transfuses, but even if the queens are out of position, well, suddenly there's so much less health on this army over here. So there's a hatchery, and I mean, you're not really losing this hatchery at this point in time, but there's a bit of gas left over, and it does start to add up. Now you lose the hive, and that's your hive, that's kind of rebuilding tech gone. If the next thing you lose is a Great Aspire, then you don't make any more brutals for the rest of this game, I don't think. So Single and Moore going to lead the charge, looking for something, hits by a fungal. And we'll just try and target down some drones to make the most of Mr. Immortal at the frontier. The hive is indeed being targeted. I mean, there's the transfuse pretty much endlessly coming down from Guru, but he's now going to run out of transfuse. There's still zealots left over. I mean, the hive will just survive, but there's still a prism over here which warps in now Dark Templar to start spreading out and start kind of hitting some bases. I mean, he's going to run right into some roaches and a spore crawl over here, but the fact that Guru is making roaches 18 minutes into the game tells you a lot about his position in this. Like, it really ain't pretty. Roachron will be killed as obviously DnS realizes the sort of situation this is. He's going to try and target down that hive. One last transfuse available. Hive will yet again stay alive here in this game, this best of one. Today's Go4SC2. We do have still all of the best of 3 stages and the best of 5 finals to come for you guys today, so plenty of StarCraft still to come. You see the Nexus dropping down the gold base. Just again, another expansion as DnS continues to just dominate the right-hand side of the map. Guru's struggling to get out of the 4-base situation here, and he is beginning to mine out too. His income really dropping off recently as he runs out of bases to mine from. So DnS just continues to build a bank, and Guru has a small bank, but not really a bank he can engage and remax with. A bank which will rebuild a few units prior to an engagement or so, after a little scuffle, but it just won't save him after a large fight unless he really crushes this army of DnS, which is so difficult to imagine happening with so many High Templar underneath, so many carriers in the sky. Finally, the Void Rays are being added on as well, and maybe again he didn't really need them until now, but it is nice to see them coming into play, because I felt that was maybe the one thing that was maybe going to be tough for him, getting rid of these corruptors. I think the numbers game just so heavily favors DnS anyways that it doesn't truly matter. I said Guru is up 25 army supply, having a lot more workers in his army. It is having a lot fewer workers in his army, so it means that he's able to get that larger army supply to give him a better chance at making his way through this upcoming engagement. Carrier's Templar pulling back to the left, going to pick off the creep tumor there nice and quickly as well. Again, DnS just positioning, see what he can do. Revelation drops once more. Oracle's not wanting to go down, but the Revelation's so important to just give him further information as to where Guru is. And in the meantime, well, there wasn't very much mining left over here, but now there's going to be oh, there the drones are. They are indeed on the way back. Drones, that might not be the best of ideas. They get destroyed by the Archon. This Archon picks up 18 kills. Wow, and it keeps on counting. Suddenly Guru has basically no drones left, and he has no income to even remax after losing the drones. So he can't even look to just bake and build a bigger army any longer. As DnS just knows the position he's in. He knows that if he doesn't need to take a straight up big larger fight, why should he attack into the static defense of his opponent if instead he can just sit back, get further upgrades, force Guru to eventually say, well, I have to attack into you, and if I have to attack into you, troubling. You can see these spores going to unburrow and reburrow towards the front. Again, just setting up nicely to kind of play against this Sky Toss army, which is, it's big, it's large, it's deadly. It's difficult to fight against, and you probably need this stack defense. Currently on the map, 20 spore crawlers. Problem is, Guru is setting up to a new base he's only got 23 drones to mine with. I mean, it's still not really going to be enough, and I mean, you can see some probes over here from DnS being sacrificed. A Dark Templar will run on through into this left-hand side base and look to get some damage done. And the High Templar hits Storms from the low ground. He can. More drones and a lot more trouble. Actually, I guess the Interceptors probably take some little bit of damage there. So many more drones going down, man. This DT picking away, and you can just see on the minimap, like, Guru's bases are really just being destroyed. You know, there's barely anything kind of consistent amongst his bases here. He's just struggling so much as he just still hold the forward position. So just sat here, DnS this army. We're going to see what could maybe happen in the next few moments. Still wants to kind of take a fight, but at the same time, if he doesn't have to, then why? And I think what he's doing is very smart, kind of getting rid of some of his own probes, just to start kind of establishing the kind of larger army himself, you know, a couple more Void Rays, and whatever else might just be very useful going in towards the kind of future fight here from DnS. The revelation from the Oracles. Hits nicely. I love that fact that DnS is a Warp Prism just sat here. Like, no need for it either. Like, this pylon is just as sufficient as the Warp Prism. Apart from, I guess, he's got more area to warp in with the Prism here. I mean, he probably just forgot about it or something. Anyways, again, the High Templar, we know they can hit the mineral line from a distance. Gonna use them to kind of force some bits and pieces away. As Fungal's going down on the Interceptors, but man, already a couple of Brutals disappear, and that's the sort of engagement which DnS is very happy with. You know, it's an engagement that isn't a full commitment. It's an engagement where the Queens really can't take as much of a part of it as they would like to. And there's an engagement where he kills some units and just trades out. You look at his bank, 10k, 6.5, 6.6. He's got so much money to rebuild, and he knows for a fact Guru does not. So picking off a couple brutes there, it's again the sort of fight which DnS wants to be taken. I'd love to see him just sit in that position, because it's very difficult for Guru, I think, to defend this position truly. As we see a Nero Parasite coming down, I mean, he has got a few infestors, right? 10 of them on the map, 3 more building. I mean, he's just hoping to build, you know, like, what, heal every single carrier or something? The revelation again from DnS, it's the slow, patient game in a situation where he's ahead. He knows he's ahead, he knows he's winning, but he knows the only way he can lose this game is he gets overly aggressive for no real reason if he attacks into that static defense. Otherwise, he's completely fine as he just establishes another base to the top side. I mean, again, it's been about 15 minutes since we saw Guru off of the base, off of his own base. We're going to see Great Spire taken down as DnS just finds himself in a nice little position here to grab a little piece of the tech and just force his opponent to relocate the army slightly. And that's just abusing the kind of lack of vision that Guru has at this point in the game, you know? He doesn't see enough to know where that Sky army is repositioned into, and so if he doesn't see it, it's too late for him to react until, you know, the Great Spire has already gone down. Still, this Hive somehow just about alive in the main base, and wouldn't be surprised if we saw the Prism using... I mean, again, DnS is actually maxed out, right? So, you can't actually warp in Zealots to harass either. As Guru... I mean, it's tough because he knows, like, if something crazy happens, like, if he somehow wins, like, a big fight, it could be really good for him, but... obviously, I think right now he doesn't really want to, I don't know, man, like... Guru just wants to hope for, like, a fight somehow going catastrophically wrong for DnS. Which is why he stays in the game, which is fair enough, but man, it's like... obviously for the viewer, maybe not the most exciting of things to watch, because we sort of know that unless DnS really does, like... I don't know, snaps his keyboard in half, throws his mouse out the window, he probably could still win this game if he did both of those things. Because that's just kind of how crazy a position he's in right now. Guru has this one base in mind, which he has to protect with everything, because if he moves away, just, you know, he gets harassed too heavily by Zealots and all the rest of it. So, staying away, another revelation, catches the Corruptors, catches a few of the Infestors, the movement around, just continue to see what else is going on. Ah, PvZ on Proxima, man. PvZ on Proxima. It's kind of funny because this is the section of the bracket which is running the slowest of all of them, and games like this are not really helping, you know. 25 minutes in the best of 1. We have best of 3s coming in after this. Oop, Neural Parasite on a carrier. He's gonna actually grab a couple of Neural Parasite. How did he reach that one? That is some insane range, but I mean, yeah, I guess he can target down a couple of carriers here. That's nice, but I mean, still, DnS is like, oh no, I've got to pull out some money from my bank. He doesn't care, man. He's got like 16k, 10k in the bank still. He's got an insane amount of money. DnS. DnS. Another base to the top side, this time not being harassed by roaches, looking as though it's going to stay very sturdy. This south base running out of minerals and gas, this base pretty much about to mine out too. I mean, very shortly DnS is going to be kind of taking bases in his opponent's bases. You know, he's going to take this base, probably even this base, because Guru just doesn't have any use to really run around with and to do much with. Use that to go after the infestation pit as well, slow down a hive from rebuilding, stop any more investors being built, which Guru has been building quite a few of recently, to be fair. The thing is, Guru can't afford to rebuild the structures that he's losing, so it is a big deal from DnS, and it's just taking him a while to kind of find an opportunity to warp in Zealots again, because he's been maxed out for so long. Finally, upon losing a little bit of a couple of carriers, he's been able to harass around once again. TT just swiping away these drones, mining gas, and Guru doesn't really need much more gas, he needs minerals primarily. He's already mining as many minerals as he can at the moment. Spire taking some shots. Spore will come in and this DT will be deflected. Gives again just DnS with so much. He's going to start targeting down his probes now, really realizing that he just doesn't have need for all of these probes, because what are they going to do? Like, the bases are all mining out. I mean, yeah, sure, there's this base here, that base there. He doesn't even need them. He's got so much money in the bank, like 17,000, 10,000. The income has been in his favor by thousands for over 10 minutes. The army size has been grown for DnS and is now comparable to that of Guru. That was the one thing we were discussing. But it didn't really matter, because even if DnS throws his entire army away and only kills half the army of Guru, he has the money to build another army. I mean, look at the army values here. DnS's army is worth 7k, 5k. He could literally rebuild his entire army 2 times with the money he has in the bank. That's not even an exaggeration. He is more or less at the point of rebuilding twice. It's probes again taken down once again. I mean, DnS is just trying to get rid of it because, of course, his Guru will not be allowed this gold base. DnS still playing it patiently, probably just laid back in his chair right now, just having a little bit of fun with what's going on. He's getting taken down very quickly. Wow. Guru, what were you doing? Why did you have your corruptors sitting back defensively for so long? Suddenly you threw all your corruptors into the Skytoss army? I mean, he's trying to dive onto the mothership, but now he doesn't have, well, anywhere near as many corruptors as he once had. And is that the instigation which DnS needs to kind of just push on in to end this? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, he's got a huge lead now again. There's a lot of corruptors. Kind of exciting that the largest fight of the last 15-20 minutes has been Guru just suiciding some corruptors into the kind of carriers. It's oh dear. DnS will move in towards the upper left. He's going to work his way through this hatchery. And he's going to be able to put himself in a position where, again, I mean, Guru's only on the one base. And it's going to start mining out very shortly. As it mines out, he can't build anything else. I mean, he's already struggling to build more. I guess, I mean, Guru may just try and reposition himself over to a position where, ooh, that's a good fungal growth, but the recall away will save the day. I was going to say Guru's going to try and bully himself in a position where actually gives up this space when it mines out and just take this space instead, but he's still not making any progress. Like, he's still not getting into any better of a situation. Like, he really, really isn't, right? You know, the game is not getting any better for him at all. Apart from still hoping that DnS somehow A-clicks his own army, like, multiple times in a row. I don't know, man. I don't know. DnS, 37 probes, because he just doesn't need any more probes any longer. And again, Guru, with the lack of vision, means that as this army comes down to the south, you'll be able to push on to creep and probably just push in here and be a bit of a nuisance again. Spy over here once again, taking damage to the Dark Templar. DT, is he going to get the last hit off? He is. Fire goes down. And the lair is over in this natural expansion, so that's not going to last too long either, I don't think. So, if he wants to rebuild the Spire, has to do it soon if he wants to get more Corruptors up. More probes going down here as the Oracle's joined up with the main army. Just getting rid of some of the creep spread. Just attacking in a very different direction to kind of make it a little bit awkward for Guru, have to reposition the spores and all the rest of it. There goes the lair. 30,000 resources now in the bank of DnS between minerals and gas. Absolutely insane numbers. So just gonna see the Revelation dropping down. Seeing what's up. DnS is starting to spread out his army. Maybe looking to just move in towards this now in the concave. I mean, he's just got so much money. I'm surprised he hasn't maybe built like... How many Stargates has he got? 4? I'm surprised he didn't just build another 10 Stargates just so he can instantly rebuild like 10 more carriers. Anyways, pushing on forwards. Even if Guru kills this army, the only thing that can really kill DnS is his lack of Stargate production. You're probably just walking gateway units though, you know? Sort of the position we're in. Another Revelation on so many of these infestors. There is 17 infestors, by the way, on the map. Which is pretty crazy. Still these units setting up, pushing forwards from this little bit of concave. Feedback's coming down. Here come neural parasites. But man, those infestors are just disappearing. The Void Rays activate prismatic alignment. This is what we've been waiting for all this time. And everything from Guru is just disappearing. The Brood Lords are just not going to be able to do anything. And he leaves the game.